Hello viewers and welcome to a Sebastien Loeb Rally Evo preview. This took place at Milestone last week, where we got to see how the game has been developing and a tour of Milestone, see how the company itself has grown over the last couple of years and constantly investing in improving their graphics and physics and audio, and also responding to the community and their requests. They might not say it actually on the Facebook and everything else, but they are noting down opinions before, of course, playing a bit of Sebastien Loeb Rally Evo ourselves as well, and I'll be talking more about my impressions in an upcoming video. So this was where some of the journalists were having their first hands on, some more successful than others. It had to be said that driving their rally games, it was a little bit more difficult than I think some people were expecting it to be. And of course then it was on to the presentation, where we saw the man himself, Sebastien Loeb, picking up the game, giving loads of feedback in terms of the physics, and you know, pretty amazing work he's done as well on the game in terms of improving it. They've listened to every detail he said, and then he went and put in the best time ever on the game on Pikes Peak. So certainly he got the hang of it pretty quickly. Apparently crashed off a couple of times, learned how the physics worked, added some tweaks, whatever, and then after that he was absolutely flying. So, and it's made a huge difference. That's great for him to visit Milestone. But first it was a presentation by Michele Coletti, head of game design, and he was explaining, I guess, the ideas behind the game, what it's all about, and then going through the cars that are in there, the menu structure, and the different rally stages as well. So you've got a choice selection of cars in there, great selection. Of course, you've got Monte Carlo, Sweden, Mexico in terms of rallies, San Remo, you know, Italy, you've got Finland, you've got, what have we got? Australia, I always enjoyed Australia myself, France, and finally we've got Great Britain in there as well. So in terms of rallies, there's a whole bunch of rallies in there, and plus there's lots of rally cross events, and of course the Pikes Peak Challenge as well. Loads of cars, loads of rallies. The rally stages are based on real rally stages, and so then he explained there was this area where you could muck about with your car, get used to it, tune it, everything else, and we went off for a drive on that. And we're going to investigate more on this once we actually get a proper hands-on the game, in terms of actually, you know, a fair few hours in terms of driving, getting used to the experience. And then he was driving around onto you've got a tarmac area you can muck about on, hoon around on, as it were. Then you have a dirt area, but we cut quickly back to the main game. And then he was showing us the Livery Editor, which has been added now. See that there, to modify your livery. Didn't go too much into this. You can see literally what we saw. I didn't have time to actually go into it in the final game, but certainly it's nice to have some additions, but I don't know how much depth there is to the livery editor yet. But either way, always nice to see something developing, and it's something that I'm sure will be improved upon in the coming years, but also just nice to see these features being included where possible. No, that's not a nice looking rally car, but nice to see the feature included. We see there obviously tuning your car. San Remo rally. So going to San Remo first, wow, I mean, what a tight rally. I mean, I have seen it before. This is actually quite a wide stage compared to some of the tighter stages, which are barely any wider than your car. But I think the first impressions were, wow, this looks a lot better than the earlier videos that we saw. The graphics were nice and solid. I mean, it's still early. I say it's still early. There's still a lot of development work going into it at the moment. A lot of bug testing, a lot of features being refined and improved. I mean, the crunch period as we lead up to launch is always crazy, and they're working really hard on it at the moment. So, but the solidity of the environments, which I think was the first thing that struck us, is saying, well, it's looking pretty good. Lots of foliage, lots of detail, nice lighting, good solidity. You know, it was certainly impressive to look at. And then after this we went to Monte Carlo at night, and there was a bit of audio playing with that. I'll just leave you a bit of audio here while we're sort of enjoying this night drive. Right forward long, the tight moves. Left forward 70. Right 340. Okay, so this is a lot more challenging than it looks. Audio varies in terms of the car and whether you're in car or outside car. I thought it sounded better in car, but I did like the co-driver. It sounded much more natural than some of the other ones we've heard, such as on WRC5. They've done really well with improving the co-driver sound on this one, so certainly I'd need to race more with it to get a more definitive opinion, but certainly impressed with that first impressions. Then obviously we were shown some of the cars in the game, lots of different cars in there. This isn't all of them. There's lots to explore in the game, and then of course it was on to Pikes Peak, which is a key, sort of circuit, as it were, for a lot of people to race on. And of course then we can see that the screen was at a slight angle, so it slightly distorted the image, but you get the idea. Now obviously you've seen the all tarmac version of Pikes Peak. It's in the game. What nobody's mentioned yet is that if you pre-order it, you actually get the original Pikes Peak that has the sort of dirt gravel track halfway up. So it is, both versions are going to be available in the game, but you only get the gravel version if you pre-order, so that's something that will probably be announced very soon. Either way, first impressions here again were impressive. Looked like Drive Club, surprisingly like Drive Club in fact. Looking and sounding much better than the recent trailer we had seen, the trailer I actually saw the day before seeing this game, so certainly trailer seemed underwhelming. I think the replay cams probably let it down. I don't think the replays are going to necessarily be mind-blowing, but certainly in car, the actual in-game looked pretty good here, and I was impressed with what I saw, and I look forward to trying a hands-on with it. I didn't get to race on this circuit myself, but then there was a demonstration just looking at the view, and of course you can see Pikes Peak itself in the very distance there, and so all 20 kilometers have been mapped and built piece by piece, so it's all there in scale as well, all the trees and everything else. A large undertaking in terms of developing a circuit of this sort of length and detail, and apparently Sebastien Loeb felt perfectly at home on it. He was really pleased with the detail, no doubt added a lot more information in terms of how things could have been improved, and so that there's correct braking markers and trees in the right place and everything else. So it's always helpful to have a rally driver of his experience, a racing driver of his experience, to give you some proper feedback. He doesn't just do donuts. He's a racer, and one of the most skilled drivers ever to live, basically. I mean, amazing talent. So it's great to have had his involvement in the game. But that's it for this part. In the upcoming parts we're going to have developer interview, little clips of gameplay as well as my feedback and initial impressions on what I've seen so far, and of course some comparison runs that we're going to be showing WRC and how it compares to WRC5, WRC the original title, WRC3 and Drive Club as well, because quite a relevant comparison in terms of where they've come from graphically, and it was overall surprisingly impressive. So the presentation was impressive, and then it was going to be onto some gameplay, and you're going to see that coming up on the channel in the coming days, and then these links, these annotation links will become available to link and check out those videos. But that's it from me for now on the first part of this preview, first impressions, developer interview to follow, and there'll be more from me very soon.